You twins?
Millions of people with the gift of making music so true. And the future. This gift.
Somebody take me.
But it also can pierce the veil between life.
Listen here, this ain't no house party. Y'all ready to sweat till y'all stink?
Careful, boy.
One day he's gonna follow you home.
We got us a problem now. This world already left you for dead.
And you are? I am.
In a city drowning in secrets, 7 lives are bound by one deadly truth: every sin has a price. See a broken bar and the debt is coming due. Betrayal, revenge, and redemption collide in a game where no one's hands are clean. This is Sinners, 2025. A only on Cinema Reviews. Sinners is a 2025 American horror film produced, written, and directed by Ryan Coogler. Set in 1932 in the Mississippi Delta, the film stars Michael B. Jordan in dual roles as criminal twin brothers who return to their hometown where they are confronted by a supernatural evil. It co-stars Hailee Steinfeld, Miles Caton, in his film debut, Jack O'Connell, Bunmi Mosaku, Jamie Lawson, Omar Miller, and Delroy Lindo. Coogler began developing the film through his production company Proximity Media, with Jordan cast in the lead role. The project was announced in January 2024, and after a bidding war, Warner Bros. Pictures acquired distribution rights the following month. Additional roles were cast in April. Principal photography took place from April to July 2024. Longtime Coogler collaborator Ludwig G. Tilde Pilgro-Ranson composed the film's score and served as an executive producer. Sinners premiered on April 3, 2025. At AMC Lincoln Square in New York City and was theatrically released in the United States on April 18, 2025, by Warner Bros. Pictures. The film received critical acclaim and grossed $365.9 million worldwide. In 1932, identical twins and World War I veterans Smoke and Stack Moore returned to Clarksdale, Mississippi, after years spent working for the Chicago outfit. Using money stolen from gangsters, they purchased a sawmill from landowner Hogwood to start a juke joint for the local black community. Their cousin Sammy, an aspiring guitarist, joins them despite his pastor Father Jedediah's warnings about the sense of blues music. The twins recruit pianist Delta Slim as a performer, local Chinese shopkeeper couple Grace and Bo Chow as suppliers, field worker Cornbread as a bouncer, and Smoke's wife Annie as a cook. Annie believes her hoodoo practices kept the twins safe, but Smoke doubts them for not preventing their infant daughter's death. Stack runs into his white-passing ex-girlfriend Mary, who resents him for abandoning her out of protection. Elsewhere, Irish immigrant vampire remake shelters from Choctaw vampire hunters with a married Klansman couple, whom he turns into vampires. On the joint's opening night, Sammy, Delta Slim, and Pearline, a singer with whom Sammy becomes enamored, perform on stage. Sammy's music is transcendent, unknowingly summoning spirits of both past and future to join the crowd. However, the performance also attracts Rimac and his vampires, who offer money and music in exchange for entry. A suspicious Smoke refuses. The twins realize that their patron's reliance on company script makes it impossible for the joint to be profitable. Reasoning with Stack that outside income is necessary, Mary meets Rimac outside, where she is turned. Returning inside, she seduces and fatally bites Stack. Sammy and Smoke discover them. Smoke shoots Mary, but she is unaffected and escapes. Outside, Rimac turns Cornbread. Smoke closes the joint early as the patrons and Bo leave. The vampires turn them. Stack revives as a vampire, but flees after Annie repels him with pickled garlic juice. Annie realizes their assailants are vampires and tells the survivors how to deter and defeat them, and that killing Rimac will not revert the other vampires back to humans. Although Rimac and his vampires share a hive mind, their personalities remain intact. Still unable to enter the joint, Rimac tries to negotiate by inviting the survivors to join him, saying that vampirism offers immortality and freedom from persecution. He promises to leave in exchange for Sammy, whose musical skills he wants to use to summon the spirits of his lost community, also revealing that Hogwood heads the local clan and plans to attack the joint at dawn. They refuse, and Rimac threatens to attack the Chow's daughter Lisa at their home. Enraged by the threat, Grace invites the vampires into the joint, and a fight ensues. Grace, Bo, Annie, and Delta Slim are killed as a result, while Mary escapes and Rimac turns Pearline. Smoke fights and defeats Stack and then assists Sammy in defeating the vampires, who are all incinerated by the light of the sunrise. Smoke sends Sammy home before he kills Hogwood and his men, but is fatally shot. He reunites with Annie and their daughter after dying. Meanwhile, Sammy ignores his father's pleas to seek salvation and travels to Chicago. In 1992, an elderly Sammy, now a successful blues musician, is visited by an ageless Stack and Mary after performing at his blues club. Stack reveals that Smoke spared him at the joint on the condition that Sammy live in peace. After declining the couple's offer of immortality, Sammy performs for them. As they leave, Sammy admits that despite being haunted by that night, until the violence, it was the greatest day of his life. Stack wistfully agrees, since it was the last time he saw Smoke or the sun, and the only time they were all truly free. The masterful casting of Sinners, 2025, a deep dive into Ryan Coogler's supernatural horror epic introduction. A director's vision brought to life through perfect casting. Ryan Coogler has established himself as one of contemporary cinema's most visionary directors, with films like Black Panther, Greed, and Fruitvale Station showcasing his unique ability to blend social commentary with compelling storytelling. His latest project, Sinners, 2025, represents perhaps his most ambitious casting endeavor yet, bringing together an ensemble that perfectly captures the film's supernatural horror elements while grounding them in the harsh realities of 1930s Jim Crow-era Mississippi. Set in 1932, the film follows twin brothers who return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. This supernatural thriller required a cast capable of navigating both period authenticity and genre-bending elements, from intimate character drama to horror spectacle. The film co-stars Hailee Steinfeld, Miles Caton, in his film debut, Jack O'Connell, Wunmi Mosaku, Jamie Lawson, Omar Miller, and Delroy Lindo. The casting process for Sinners was overseen by acclaimed casting director Francine Maisler, whose previous work includes The Power of the Dog, Ford v Ferrari, and The Revenant. Maisler's reputation for discovering exceptional talent and matching actors to complex roles made her the perfect choice for a project that demanded both star power and authentic character work. Michael B. Jordan, the dual lead performance of a lifetime. At the heart of Sinners lies Michael B. Jordan's most challenging performance to date, playing twin brothers Smoke and Stack Moore. In 1932, twin brothers Elijah Smoke Moore and Elias Stack Moore returned to their hometown of Clarksdale, Mississippi after spending time in Chicago, Illinois. This duo role represents Jordan's most complex acting challenge yet, requiring him to create two distinct characters who share DNA but have divergent personalities and motivations. Jordan's casting was announced early in the development process, marking his fourth collaboration with Ryan Coogler after Fruitvale Station, Black Panther, and Creed. Their creative partnership has been one of Hollywood's most fruitful director-actor relationships, with each project showcasing Jordan's growing range and Coogler's evolving vision. The physical demands of playing twins required extensive preparation. Jordan worked with movement coaches to develop distinct physicality for each brother, ensuring that audiences could differentiate between Smoke and Stack even when they shared the screen. The production employed cutting-edge technology and practical effects to achieve seamless integration of both characters, often requiring Jordan to perform opposite tennis balls or stand-ins before completing scenes with himself in post-production. What makes Jordan's casting particularly compelling is his ability to navigate the film's tonal shifts. The actor must ground the supernatural elements in emotional reality while maintaining the period authenticity that Coogler's vision demands. His previous experience in both action spectacles and intimate character studies prepared him perfectly for Sinners' unique blend of horror and drama. Miles Caton, a remarkable film debut. One of the most intriguing casting choices in Sinners is Miles Caton as Sammy Moore, marking his film debut in a major studio production. Caton's casting represents Coogler's commitment to discovering new talent and providing opportunities for emerging actors to showcase their abilities on a significant platform. The role of Sammy Moore appears to be crucial to the narrative, likely serving as either a catalyst for the supernatural events or a key figure in the brothers' past. Casting a newcomer in such an important role demonstrates tremendous confidence in Caton's abilities and suggests that his audition must have been exceptional to secure a part alongside established stars. Caton's casting follows a tradition in Coogler's films of mixing established stars with fresh faces. This approach not only provides authenticity to the storytelling but also creates opportunities for new voices in Hollywood. The decision to cast Caton suggests that the character of Sammy requires a specific authenticity that established actors might not have been able to provide. Working opposite Michael B. Jordan in such a high-profile production would be intimidating for any newcomer, but reports from the set suggest that Caton held his own and delivered a performance that justifies Coogler's faith in him. The casting represents a significant risk that appears to have paid off, potentially launching a promising new career in Hollywood. Hailee Steinfeld. Bringing star power and dramatic depth. Hailee Steinfeld's casting as Mary adds significant star power and dramatic credibility to the project. The Academy Award-nominated actress brings a unique combination of youth and experience, having delivered acclaimed performances in films ranging from the Coen brothers' True Grit to the Pitch Perfect franchise and Marvel's Hawkeye series. Steinfeld's ability to navigate different genres makes her an ideal fit for Sinner's supernatural thriller elements. Her previous work has demonstrated comfort with both period pieces and contemporary stories, action sequences and intimate character moments. In True Grit, she proved her ability to hold her own in period westerns, while her work in the Marvel Cinematic Universe showcased her action capabilities. The character of Mary appears to be a significant romantic interest or ally to the Moore brothers, requiring an actress capable of matching Jordan's intensity while bringing her own distinct presence to the role. Steinfeld's casting suggests that Mary is not merely a love interest but a fully realized character with her own agency and importance to the narrative. Steinfeld's youth also brings an interesting dynamic to the 1930s setting, as she can authentically portray the hope and determination of someone who hasn't yet been entirely worn down by the harsh realities of Jim Crow-era Mississippi. Her natural charisma and proven ability to deliver both dramatic and action-oriented performances make her an excellent complement to the ensemble. Jack O'Connell. International talent meets Southern Gothic British actor Jack O'Connell's casting as Remak brings international credibility and dramatic intensity to the project. O'Connell, known for powerful performances in films like Unbroken, Startup, and 71, possesses the kind of raw, physical presence that suits Sinner's darker themes. O'Connell's ability to disappear into challenging roles and his comfort with physical, demanding performances make him well-suited for what appears to be an antagonistic role. His previous work has demonstrated a willingness to fully commit to difficult characters, often playing morally ambiguous or outright villainous roles with compelling complexity. The casting of a British actor in a deeply American story reflects Hollywood's increasingly international approach to filmmaking. However, O'Connell's proven ability to master different accents and his dedication to authenticity suggest that his nationality won't be a barrier to delivering a convincing performance as a character embedded in the specific cultural context of 1930s Mississippi. O'Connell's physical presence and intense screen energy create an interesting dynamic with Jordan's dual performance. The contrast between O'Connell's more aggressive screen persona and Jordan's typically heroic characters suggests that Remak may serve as a primary antagonist or at least a significant obstacle for the Moore brothers. The supporting ensemble, character actors who elevate the material. Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim. Veteran character actor Delroy Lindo's casting as Delta Slim brings gravitas and authenticity to the period setting. Lindo, whose career spans decades and includes memorable performances in Spike Lee films and recent acclaim for Da 5 Bloods, possesses the kind of commanding presence that can anchor a film's supporting cast. Lindo's experience in period pieces and his natural authority make him perfect for what appears to be an elder character who may serve as either mentor or warning to the Moore brothers. His casting suggests that Delta Slim is a character with significant knowledge of the supernatural forces at work in the story. Wunmi Mosaku as Annie. British-Nigerian actress Wunmi Mosaku brings international recognition and proven dramatic chops to her role as Annie. Known for her work in His Dark Materials, Lovecraft Country, and Loki, Mosaku has demonstrated remarkable versatility across different genres and formats. Her casting in Sinners continues a trend of British actors successfully transitioning into American productions, particularly in genre material. Mozaku's experience with supernatural and horror elements in Lovecraft Country makes her particularly well-suited for Cinna's blend of historical drama and supernatural thriller elements. Jamie Lawson as Pearline. Jamie Lawson's inclusion in the cast brings additional young talent to the ensemble. Known for her work in The Batman and various television projects, Lawson represents the kind of emerging talent that Coogler consistently champions in his casting choices. Her role as Pearline appears to be significant enough to warrant prominent billing, suggesting a character with substantial screen time and importance to the narrative. Lawson's natural screen presence and dramatic abilities complement the ensemble's mix of established stars and newcomers. Omar Benson Miller is Cornbread character actor. Omar Benson Miller brings both dramatic credibility and a recognizable face to the ensemble. Known for his work in films like 8 Mile and television series including Ballers, Miller possesses the kind of everyman quality that can ground a supernatural story in relatable humanity. Miller's casting as Cornbread suggests a character who provides either comic relief or represents the common person caught up in extraordinary circumstances. His ability to balance humor with drama makes him an excellent addition to an ensemble dealing with both supernatural horror and social commentary. The extended cast, building a complete world. Saul Williams as Jedediah, poet, musician, and actor. Saul Williams brings artistic credibility and unique screen presence to his role as Jedediah. Williams' background in multiple artistic disciplines suggests that his character may have connections to the film's themes of spirituality and supernatural forces. His casting reflects Coogler's commitment to working with artists who bring authentic cultural perspective to their roles. Williams' work as a poet and musician adds layers of artistic authenticity that enhance the film's period setting and thematic concerns. Andreen Ward Hammond as Ruthie. Experienced character actress Andreen Ward Hammond's casting as Ruthie adds authenticity to the film's period setting. Her extensive television and film background provides the kind of lived-in performance quality that helps establish the world's believability. Ward Hammond's presence in the cast suggests that Ruthie serves as either a maternal figure or community elder, roles that require the kind of natural authority that comes from years of character work experience. Lee Jun Lee as Grace Chow. Lee Jun Lee's casting as Grace Chow introduces an interesting multicultural element to the 1930s Mississippi setting. Her presence suggests that the film explores the experiences of various minority communities during this difficult historical period. Lee's previous work in television and film demonstrates her ability to bring depth to supporting roles, and her casting indicates that Grace Chow is more than a token character, instead serving as a meaningful part of this story's exploration of marginalized communities. The technical team behind the casting success. Francine Maisler. Master Casting Director. Francine Maisler's work as casting director represents one of the film's most crucial behind-the-scenes contributions. Maisler's reputation for discovering talent and matching actors to complex roles made her the ideal choice for a project requiring such delicate balance between star power and authenticity. Her previous collaborations include some of cinema's most acclaimed recent films, and her ability to see potential in both established stars and newcomers has resulted in numerous breakthrough performances. For Sinners, Maisler needed to find actors capable of handling period material, supernatural elements, and intense dramatic content while maintaining authentic Southern accents and period-appropriate behavior. The casting process likely involved extensive auditions and chemistry reads, particularly for the ensemble scenes that require the cast to work together as a cohesive unit. Maisler's eye for talent is evident in choices like Miles Caton's debut performance and the perfect matching of international actors like Jack O'Connell and Wunmi Mozaku to specifically American roles. The extras and background casting team. The extensive extras casting team, led by Brand Caballero as extras casting director and including Julian Bectad, Lindsay Brady, and others, faced the significant challenge of populating 1930s Mississippi with authentic-looking background performers. Period films require careful attention to extras casting, as modern audiences immediately notice any anachronisms in appearance or behavior. The team's work extends beyond simple background filling to creating a lived-in world that supports the primary story. Every face and crowd seems needed to reflect the specific demographics and social conditions of Jim Crow-era Mississippi, requiring extensive research and careful selection. The collaborative process. Director and cast working together. Ryan Coogler's directorial vision. Ryan Coogler's approach to directing actors has evolved throughout his career, with each film demonstrating increased sophistication in handling ensemble casts. His work with Michael B. Jordan across multiple projects has created a shorthand that allows for deeper character exploration and risk-taking in performance. Coogler's background in both intimate character studies and large-scale productions prepared him perfectly for Sinner's unique requirements. The film demands both careful character work and spectacular supernatural sequences, requiring a director who can maintain performance quality across different scales of filmmaking. His collaborative approach with actors is evident in the natural, lived-in quality of the performances. Rather than imposing a predetermined vision, Coogler creates space for actors to discover their characters while maintaining the overall narrative coherence that his films are known for. The rehearsal process. Complex ensemble pieces like Sinners typically require extensive rehearsal periods to establish character relationships and navigate challenging scenes. The film's supernatural elements would have required particular attention to ensure that actors could maintain believable performances even when reacting to effects that would be added in post-production. Michael B. Jordan's dual role would have necessitated especially detailed rehearsal work, as he needed to establish clear distinctions between the twin brothers while ensuring their relationship felt authentic. Working with other cast members required careful choreography to ensure that scenes played naturally despite the technical complexity of filming with one actor playing two roles. The period setting also demanded research and preparation from the entire cast. Understanding the social dynamics, speech patterns, and cultural context of 1930s Mississippi was essential for creating authentic performances that honored the historical setting while serving the supernatural story. Cultural authenticity and representation. Historical accuracy in casting. One of the most challenging aspects of casting Sinners was ensuring historical authenticity while serving the story's dramatic needs. The 1930s Jim Crow-era setting required careful consideration of racial dynamics, social hierarchies, and cultural specificity that could easily be mishandled. Coogler's commitment to authentic representation is evident in casting choices that prioritize cultural accuracy alongside performance ability. The inclusion of actors like Delroy Lindo and Saul Williams, who bring deep understanding of African American cultural history, helps ensure that the film's treatment of its historical setting remains respectful and accurate. The casting also reflects the complex racial dynamics of 1930s Mississippi, including the presence of characters like Grace Shaw who represent other marginalized communities. This multicultural approach acknowledges the historical reality that Jim Crow-era oppression affected multiple communities, not just African Americans. Contemporary relevance through period casting. While set in the 1930s, Sinner's casting choices reflect contemporary concerns about representation and authenticity in Hollywood. Coogler's decision to cast both established stars and newcomers creates opportunities for emerging talent while ensuring commercial viability. The international elements of the cast, including British actors like Jack O'Connell and Wunmi Mosaku, reflect modern Hollywood's global perspective while serving the story's specific needs. These choices demonstrate that authentic storytelling can coexist with international casting when actors fully commit to their roles. The stunt and physical performance team. Action sequences and physical demands. The supernatural thriller elements of Sinners required extensive stunt coordination and physical performance work. Stunt coordinator Tim Bell led a team of over 50 stunt performers, suggesting that the film includes significant action sequences that required careful choreography and safety planning. Michael B. Jordan's dual role would have presented unique challenges for the stunt team, as they needed to coordinate action sequences that might involve both characters simultaneously. This technical complexity required precise planning and execution to maintain the illusion of two separate performers. The period setting also influenced stunt work, as modern safety equipment needed to be disguised or eliminated to maintain period authenticity. This balance between safety and authenticity required experienced professionals who could deliver spectacular sequences while protecting the cast. Specialized performance requirements. The supernatural elements of the story likely required specialized performance techniques from the cast. Horror films often demand specific skills in reaction timing, physical expression of fear or supernatural influence, and interaction with effects that will be added in post-production. The extensive visual effects team, with over 190 credited professionals, suggests that much of the cast's work involved performing opposite green screens or practical effects that would be enhanced digitally. This type of performance requires specific skills and experience that not all actors possess naturally. Post-production and performance enhancement. The editorial team's role in performance. The editorial department, led by Michael P. Shover with additional editors Travis Canty and Mike Fay, played crucial roles in shaping the final performances. Film editing is often called the final rewrite, and in a complex project like Sinners, editorial choices significantly impact how performances are perceived. Michael B. Jordan's dual performance would have required particularly sophisticated editorial work to create seamless interactions between the twin characters. The editing team needed to select the best takes while maintaining continuity and character consistency across both roles. The supernatural elements also required careful editorial pacing to build tension and deliver scares effectively. The relationships between performance and editing in horror films is particularly crucial, as the timing of reactions and reveals can make or break supernatural sequences. Visual effects integration with performance. The massive visual effects team worked closely with the cast to integrate supernatural elements seamlessly with live-action performances. This collaboration requires actors to maintain performance quality while working with technical constraints and imaginary elements. The period setting presented additional challenges for visual effects integration, as any digital enhancements needed to maintain the film's 1930s aesthetic. The cast's performances needed to support both practical and digital effects while remaining grounded in the historical period. Music and performance integration. Ludwig G. Tilde Pilkro-Ranson's score and cast performance. Composer Ludwig G. Tilde Pilkro-Ranson, who also served as executive producer, created a musical landscape that supports and enhances the cast's performances. G. Tilde Pilkro-Ranson's previous collaborations with Ryan Coogler on Black Panther and Creed established a creative partnership that extends to supporting actor performances through musical choices. The extensive music department, including over 180 credited professionals, suggests that music plays a crucial role in this film's overall impact. The score likely provides emotional support for the cast's dramatic moments while enhancing the supernatural thriller elements. The period setting required careful attention to musical authenticity, ensuring that any source music or musical references remained appropriate to the 1930s timeframe. This attention to detail supports the cast's period performances by maintaining consistent atmospheric authenticity. Performance and sound design. The sound department's work, led by supervising sound editor Benjamin Abert and rear recording mixer Steve Boedeker, created an auditory environment that supports and enhances the cast's performances. Horror films rely heavily on sound design to create atmosphere and support scares. The dialogue and ADR work required particular attention given the period setting and regional accents. Ensuring that all cast members maintained consistent and authentic Southern accents throughout the film required careful monitoring and occasional post-production correction. Costume and makeup. Supporting performance through design. Ruth E. Carter's costume design. Acclaimed costume designer Ruth E. Carter, known for her Oscar-winning work on Black Panther, created period-appropriate costumes that support the cast's character development and historical authenticity. Carter's extensive research into 1930s fashion, particularly for African American communities in the rural South, provides the visual foundation for character expression. The costume department's work with over 25 credited professionals demonstrates the scope and detail required for authentic period costuming. Each character's wardrobe needed to reflect their social status, personality, and arc throughout the story while remaining true to historical accuracy. Michael B. Jordan's dual role required particular attention from the costume department, as subtle differences in clothing choices help audiences distinguish between the twin characters. These visual cues support Jordan's performance choices while maintaining character consistency. Makeup department's characters support the makeup department, led by department head Ken Diaz and including over 40 credited professionals, faced the complex challenge of creating 1930s appropriate looks while accommodating the film's supernatural elements. Period makeup requires extensive research to avoid anachronisms while enhancing character development. The extensive prosthetics and special makeup effects work suggests that several cast members required significant transformation for their roles. This technical support allows actors to fully embody their characters while maintaining the film's supernatural thriller elements, international elements and cultural bridge building. Cross-cultural casting success. The successful integration of international actors like Jack O'Connell, Bunmi Mosaku, and Lee Jun Lee into a specifically American historical narrative demonstrates sophisticated casting and direction. These actors needed to master not only American accents but also the specific cultural nuances of 1930s Mississippi. This international approach reflects modern filmmaking's global perspective while respecting the story's cultural specificity. The success of these casting choices sug legacy in future impact career development through Sinners. For several cast members, Sinners represents a significant career milestone. Miles Caton's film debut in such a high-profile production could launch a promising career, while established actors like Michael B. Jordan and Hailee Steinfeld add another impressive credit to their filmographies. The film's combination of commercial appeal and critical acclaim provides cast members with both popular recognition and industry respect. This dual success often leads to more diverse and challenging role opportunities for actors. Influence on future casting practices. Ryan Coogler's approach to casting Sinners may influence other filmmakers' approaches to ensemble casting, particularly in genre films that require both commercial viability and cultural authenticity. The successful integration of newcomers with established stars provides a model for developing new talent. The film's attention to cultural authenticity while maintaining broad appeal demonstrates that audiences appreciate both entertainment value and respectful representation. This success may encourage more filmmakers to prioritize authentic casting even in commercial projects. Conclusion: a casting triumph that elevates genre filmmaking. The casting of Sinners, 2025, represents a masterclass in ensemble building that serves both commercial and artistic goals. Ryan Coogler, Francine Maisler, and their teams created a cast that honors the historical setting while delivering the supernatural thrills that the genre demands. Michael B. Jordan's challenging dual performance anchors an ensemble that includes both established stars and promising newcomers. The integration of international talent with authentically American storytelling demonstrates sophisticated casting that respects cultural specificity while embracing global perspectives. The extensive supporting cast and technical teams created a collaborative environment that supported outstanding performances across all levels of the production. From the principal cast to the extras, every performer contributed to creating a believable world that serves the story's dramatic and supernatural elements. Sinners succeeds as both a supernatural thriller and a period drama because its casting choices prioritized authenticity alongside entertainment value. The result is a film that honors its historical setting while delivering contemporary thrills, supported by performances that bring depth and humanity to every character. The film's casting success provides a blueprint for future productions that seek to balance commercial appeal with cultural authenticity. By investing in both established stars and emerging talent, Sinners creates a sustainable model for filmmaking that serves industry needs while honoring artistic vision. As audiences continue to demand both entertainment and authenticity from their film experiences, Sinners demonstrates that careful casting can deliver both. The film's success validates the approach of prioritizing character authenticity and cultural sensitivity while maintaining the spectacle and excitement that draw audiences to theaters. Ryan Coogler and his casting team have created more than just a successful film. They have demonstrated that thoughtful, Inclusive casting can enhance every aspect of filmmaking while respecting both artistic vision and cultural truth. Sinners stands as a testament to the power of casting as a creative force that can elevate genre material into something truly special. Sinners, 2025, a comprehensive analysis of Ryan Coogler's genre-bending masterpiece introduction in the landscape of contemporary cinema. Few filmmakers have demonstrated the ability to seamlessly blend commercial appeal with artistic integrity quite like Ryan Coogler. His latest venture, Sinners, 2025, represents not only a bold creative departure for the director but also a triumphant return to original storytelling in an industry increasingly dominated by franchise filmmaking. This supernatural thriller, starring Michael B. Jordan in a career-defining dual role, has emerged as both a critical darling and a box office phenomenon, proving that audiences still hunger for innovative, thought-provoking cinema when it's packaged with masterful craftsmanship and compelling storytelling. Set against the atmospheric backdrop of the American South in the 1930s, Sinners tells the haunting tale of identical twin brothers Elijah Smoke and Elias Stackmore, World War I veterans who attempt to leave their troubled past behind by returning to their hometown, only to discover that an even greater evil awaits their homecoming. The film represents a significant evolution in Coogler's directorial journey, marking his first foray into the horror genre while maintaining the social consciousness and character-driven storytelling that have defined his previous works. Production development and pre-production. The genesis of Sinners can be traced back to early 2024, when Ryan Coogler began developing the project through his production company, Proximity Media. The film's development represents a strategic shift for Coogler, who had previously focused on more grounded, socially conscious dramas and the Marvel Cinematic Universe with his work on the Black Panther films. This genre pivot into supernatural horror demonstrates the director's willingness to explore new creative territories while maintaining his commitment to meaningful storytelling. Coogler began developing the film through his production company Proximity Media by January 2024 when Jordan was cast. The early casting of Michael B. Jordan proved instrumental in the project's development, as the actor's involvement brought immediate credibility and industry attention to the venture. Jordan's casting in the demanding dual role of the Moore twins represented a significant creative challenge, requiring the actor to portray two distinct characters while maintaining the believable bond between brothers who have shared a lifetime of experiences. The development phase was characterized by meticulous attention to historical detail and atmospheric authenticity. Coogler and his team conducted extensive research into the post-World War I era, particularly focusing on the experiences of African-American veterans returning to the Jim Crow South. This historical foundation provided the film with a rich contextual backdrop that elevates the supernatural elements beyond mere genre conventions. The script development process was notably collaborative, with Coogler working closely with his writing team to craft a narrative that would honor both the horror genre's traditions and the complex social dynamics of 1930s America. The decision to set the story in this particular time period was deliberate, as it allowed the filmmakers to explore themes of trauma, redemption, and the lingering effects of both personal and societal violence. The pre-production phase was marked by extensive world-building, as the creative team worked to establish the film's unique blend of period authenticity and supernatural atmosphere. Production designers spent months researching and recreating the visual aesthetics of 1930s rural America, with particular attention paid to the economic and social conditions that would have affected the characters' lives. After a bidding war, Warner Brothers acquired the distribution rights, demonstrating the industry's confidence in Coogler's vision and the project's commercial potential. The bidding war that ensued speaks to the high regard in which studios hold Coogler's work, particularly following his success with the Black Panther films. Warner Brothers' commitment to the project represented a significant investment in original storytelling, at a time when many studios have become increasingly risk-averse regarding non-franchise properties. The pre-production phase also involved extensive casting sessions for the supporting roles. The film co-stars Hailee Steinfeld, Miles Caton, in his film debut, Jack O'Connell, Bunmi Mosaku, Jamie Lawson, Omar Miller, and Delroy Lindo. Each casting decision was made with careful consideration of both the character's narrative functions and the actor's ability to contribute to the film's overall thematic resonance. Hailee Steinfeld's casting brought a significant star presence to the female lead role, while her previous work in both dramatic and action-oriented projects made her an ideal choice for a character who must navigate the film's complex emotional and supernatural terrain. Miles Caton's casting in his film debut represents Coogler's commitment to discovering and nurturing new talent, a hallmark of his approach to filmmaking that has consistently yielded impressive results. The inclusion of veteran actors like Delroy Lindo and Jack O'Connell provided the production with experienced performers capable of grounding the film's more fantastical elements in authentic human emotion. Bunmi Mosaku and Jamie Lawson's casting further demonstrates the production's commitment to diverse representation, both in front of and behind the camera. Filming principal photography for the movie started in New Orleans, Louisiana on April 13, 2024 and ended on July 17, 2024. The choice of New Orleans as the primary filming location was both practical and artistic, as the city's unique architecture, cultural atmosphere, and historical significance provided an authentic backdrop for the story's 1930s setting. New Orleans' rich history of supernatural folklore and its complex racial dynamics made it an ideal location for a film that explores themes of haunting, both literal and metaphorical. The 3-month filming schedule was carefully planned to accommodate the complex demands of the dual-role performances, elaborate practical effects sequences, and the extensive period recreation required for the production. The filming process was notable for its use of practical effects wherever possible, reflecting Coogler's preference for authentic, in-camera storytelling techniques over heavy reliance on digital manipulation. Sinners was proudly shot on IMAX 70mm film. This technical choice represents a significant commitment to cinematic quality and theatrical experience, as IMAX 70mm filming requires specialized equipment, techniques, and considerably higher production costs. The decision to shoot on film, rather than digital, further demonstrates the production's commitment to creating a premium cinematic experience that would differentiate Sinners from the increasingly digital landscape of contemporary filmmaking. The use of IMAX 70mm filming technology allowed the production to capture unprecedented detail and clarity, particularly important for a film that relies heavily on atmospheric cinematography and intricate production design. The format's superior image quality and larger aspect ratio provided the filmmakers with additional tools for creating the immersive, unsettling atmosphere essential to the film's supernatural elements. The filming process was characterized by meticulous attention to period detail, with extensive effort devoted to recreating the look and feel of 1930s America. Costume designers worked closely with the production team to ensure authentic period clothing, while set decorators meticulously researched and recreated the material culture of the era. This commitment to historical authenticity extended to every aspect of the production, from vehicle selection to the careful recreation of period-appropriate signage and architecture. The dual-role performance requirements presented unique technical challenges for the cinematography and editing teams. Special techniques were employed to facilitate Jordan's performances as both twins, including the use of body doubles, sophisticated camera work, and careful scene planning to allow for seamless interactions between the two characters. These technical challenges were met with innovative solutions that maintained the film's visual coherence while supporting the narrative's emotional authenticity. The New Orleans location provided numerous practical advantages beyond its atmospheric qualities. The city's established film infrastructure, experienced local crew base, and supportive government incentives made it an attractive destination for the large-scale production. Additionally, the location's cultural richness and historical depth provided the cast and crew with additional inspiration and context for their creative work. Weather considerations played a significant role in this filming schedule, as the Louisiana climate and seasonal patterns required careful planning to ensure consistent lighting and atmospheric conditions throughout the production. The filmmakers worked closely with meteorologists and local experts to optimize filming schedules and prepare for potential weather-related disruptions. Post-production 2024, December, the film was set to post-production status, indicating that the extensive post-production process began immediately following the completion of principal photography. The post-production phase of Sinners was particularly complex, given the film's integration of supernatural elements, period recreation, and the technical demands of the dual role performances. The editing process was overseen by Coogler himself, working closely with his editorial team to craft a narrative rhythm that would effectively balance the film's various tonal elements. The challenge of editing a supernatural thriller set in a historical period required careful attention to pacing, as the filmmakers worked to build tension while maintaining the authenticity of the period setting and the complexity of the character relationships. Visual effects work, while not the primary focus of the film's aesthetic approach, played a crucial role in enhancing certain supernatural elements and seamlessly integrating Jordan's dual-role performances. The VFX team worked to ensure that digital enhancements remained invisible to audiences, supporting the story without drawing attention to themselves. This approach reflects Coogler's preference for practical storytelling techniques supplemented by, rather than dominated by, digital effects. Color grading and digital intermediate work were particularly important for establishing the film's distinctive visual palette. The post-production team worked to create a color scheme that would evoke the historical period while supporting the film's supernatural atmosphere. This involved extensive collaboration between the director, cinematographer, and colorist to achieve a visual tone that would serve both the period authenticity and the genre requirements. Sound design and mixing represented another crucial aspect of the post-production process. The creation of an immersive audio landscape was essential for establishing the film's supernatural atmosphere and supporting its horror elements. The sound team worked to blend period-appropriate ambient sounds with more stylized horror elements, creating an audio environment that would enhance the film's emotional and atmospheric impact. The post-production phase also involved extensive work on the film's musical elements, as the integration of period-appropriate music with contemporary scoring techniques required careful balance and expertise. The music team worked closely with historical consultants to ensure authenticity while creating a sonic landscape that would resonate with contemporary audiences. 2025 January, the film was set to completed status, indicating that the post-production process concluded in early 2025, providing sufficient time for the final delivery and preparation for the film's theatrical release. This timeline suggests a thorough and unhurried post-production process that allowed the creative team adequate time to refine and perfect their work. Music. The musical landscape of Sinners represents a sophisticated blend of period authenticity and contemporary cinematic scoring techniques. The film's composer worked closely with Coogler to create a musical palette that would honor the 1930s setting while supporting the supernatural and dramatic elements of the narrative. This approach required extensive research into the musical traditions of the era, particularly focusing on African-American musical culture of the post-World War I period. The score incorporates elements of blues, jazz, and spiritual music traditions that would have been prevalent in the film setting, while integrating these historical elements with more contemporary horror and thriller scoring conventions. This hybrid approach creates a unique sonic identity that serves both the film's historical authenticity and its genre requirements. Period music selection was handled with particular care, as the filmmakers sought to use authentic recordings and musical styles that would have been available to the characters during the story's timeframe. This involved collaboration with music historians and collectors to identify appropriate recordings and ensure historical accuracy in the film's musical choices. The integration of diegetic and non-diegetic musical elements was carefully planned to create seamless transitions between the story world's authentic musical landscape and the more stylized scoring used to support dramatic and supernatural moments. This approach required precise collaboration between the sound design, music, and editorial teams to achieve the desired effect. The musical themes developed for the twin brothers were designed to reflect both their shared experiences and their individual personalities, creating a sonic representation of their complex relationship. These themes evolved throughout the film, reflecting the characters' journey and the supernatural forces that affect their lives. Vocal elements, including period-appropriate singing and chanting, were integrated into both the score and the sound design to create additional layers of atmospheric authenticity. These elements were recorded using period-appropriate techniques and equipment to maintain consistency with the film's overall aesthetic approach. The final musical mix required careful balance to ensure that the various musical elements would work effectively in different theatrical environments, from intimate theater settings to large IMAX presentations. This technical consideration was particularly important given the film's IMAX 70mm presentation format. Released theatrical Sinners received a wide theatrical release that demonstrated Warner Bros.' confidence in the film's commercial potential and artistic merit. The release strategy was carefully planned to maximize both critical reception and box office performance, with particular attention paid to the film's unique positioning as an original, high-quality genre film in a marketplace increasingly dominated by franchise properties. Sinners premiered on IMAX and standard screens on Friday, with the IMAX presentation receiving particular emphasis in the marketing campaign. The dual-format release strategy allowed the film to reach both premium theater audiences seeking the enhanced IMAX experience and general audiences in standard theater formats. This approach maximized the film's accessibility while highlighting its technical achievements. The theatrical release was supported by an extensive marketing campaign that emphasized the film's key selling points: Ryan Coogler's direction, Michael B. Jordan's dual-role performance, the film's period setting, and its supernatural elements. The marketing materials carefully balanced these elements to appeal to both Coogler's established fanbase and genre enthusiasts seeking original horror content. International release patterns were coordinated to support optimal box office performance while accommodating different market preferences and regulatory requirements. The film's themes and content were considered appropriate for wide international distribution, though some markets required minor modifications for local rating systems. The release timing was strategically chosen to avoid direct competition with major franchise releases while positioning the film for award season consideration. This timing reflects Warner Bros.' confidence in the film's quality and their commitment to supporting it as both a commercial and critical success. Theater chain partnerships were established to ensure optimal screen allocation and presentation quality. Special attention was paid to ensuring that theaters equipped for IMAX 70mm presentation were properly prepared to showcase the film's technical achievements. This involved coordination with theater operators to ensure proper equipment calibration and staff training. Marketing partnerships with key demographic groups were established to broaden the film's audience appeal beyond traditional horror movie fans. These partnerships included collaborations with historical societies, veteran organizations, and cultural institutions that could appreciate the film's historical and thematic elements. The theatrical release included special preview screenings and film festival presentations that generated early critical buzz and word-of-mouth support. These advanced screenings were strategically targeted to influential critics, industry professionals, and key audience demographics. Press and publicity campaigns were carefully coordinated with the theatrical release to ensure maximum media coverage and public awareness. This included extensive interviews with cast and crew, behind-the-scenes documentaries, and promotional materials that highlighted the film's unique qualities and production achievements. Home media. While specific details regarding the home media release of Sinners are still developing given the film's recent theatrical run, industry patterns and Warner Bros.' typical release strategies suggest a comprehensive home entertainment rollout designed to extend the film's commercial life and reach audiences who missed the theatrical presentation. The home media release strategy will likely include multiple formats to accommodate different consumer preferences and technical capabilities. Ultra HD Blu-ray, standard Blu-ray, and digital streaming options will provide consumers with various ways to experience the film at home, though none can fully replicate the impact of the IMAX 70mm theatrical presentation. Special features and bonus content will likely include extensive behind-the-scenes documentaries exploring the film's production process, character development, historical research, and technical achievements. Director's commentary from Ryan Coogler will provide insights into the creative decisions and challenges involved in bringing this complex story to the screen. Cast and crew interviews will offer additional perspectives on the production process, with particular attention to Michael B. Jordan's preparation for the dual role performance and the ensemble cast's approach to the period setting and supernatural elements. These features will provide fans with deeper appreciation for the craftsmanship involved in the film's creation. Technical features will likely include detailed explanations of the IMAX 70mm filming process, visual effects integration, and sound design achievements. These features will be particularly valuable for film enthusiasts and industry professionals interested in understanding the technical aspects of the production. Deleted scenes and extended sequences will provide additional context for character development and world-building elements that may have been trimmed from the theatrical release for pacing considerations. These materials will offer fans additional insights into the filmmaker's vision and the depth of the story world. Digital release platforms will likely include premium rental and purchase options across major services, with potential exclusive content for specific platforms based on distribution agreements. The digital release will make the film accessible to global audiences who may not have had access to theatrical presentations. International home media releases will be coordinated to accommodate different regional preferences and technical standards, ensuring that the film's quality and impact are preserved across different markets and formats. Reception box office. The box office performance of Sinners has been nothing short of exceptional, establishing new benchmarks for original filmmaking in the contemporary theatrical landscape. Earning $48 million domestically and $63 million globally in its opening weekend, the film exceeded industry expectations and demonstrated the continued viability of original, high-quality genre filmmaking. Those ticket sales, the biggest debut in post-pandemic times for an original film, represent a significant achievement in an industry that has increasingly struggled to generate excitement for non-franchise properties. The film's opening weekend success sent a clear message to industry observers about audience appetite for innovative storytelling when delivered with appropriate production values and marketing support. Shattered industry expectations when it drew $45.6 million domestically in its opening weekend, surpassing previous estimates of about $35 million. This significant overperformance relative to industry projections demonstrates the effectiveness of the film's marketing campaign and the strength of audience response to early reviews and word-of-mouth recommendations. The film's sustained box office performance has been equally impressive. Sinners crossed $200 million domestically in its fourth weekend, becoming the first original film to do so since Coco in 2017. This milestone achievement underscores both the film's broad audience appeal and its exceptional staying power in an increasingly competitive theatrical marketplace. Sinners just crossed the $275 million threshold at the domestic box office in its ninth weekend. It is only the third 2025 movie to manage to reach that milestone, further cementing its status as one of the year's most significant commercial successes. This sustained performance over multiple weeks indicates strong audience satisfaction and positive word-of-mouth that continued to drive ticket sales well beyond the opening weekend. The film's international performance has complemented its domestic success, with global audiences responding positively to its universal themes and high production values. Globally, the film has grossed more than $71 million as of Tuesday within days of its release, establishing a strong foundation for continued international expansion. Sinners, 2025, $275 million positions the film as the highest-grossing original film in several years, demonstrating that audiences will support innovative filmmaking when it meets their expectations for quality and entertainment value. This success has significant implications for industry decision-making regarding future investment in original properties versus franchise development. The film's box office trajectory has been characterized by unusually strong week-to-week retention, with smaller than typical drops between weekends. This pattern indicates strong audience satisfaction and effective word-of-mouth marketing, as satisfied viewers recommend the film to friends and family members. IMAX presentations have contributed significantly to the film's overall box office performance, with premium format tickets commanding higher prices while delivering enhanced viewing experiences that justify the additional cost to audiences. The IMAX component has been particularly important for maintaining strong per-screen averages as the film expanded to additional theaters. Demographic analysis of the film's audience has revealed broad appeal across age groups, gender lines, and cultural backgrounds, indicating successful execution of Warner Bros.' strategy to position Sinners as a four-quadrant film capable of attracting diverse audience segments. The film's success has had ripple effects throughout the industry, with studios and producers taking note of the viability of original, high-quality genre filmmaking. This influence may lead to increased investment in similar projects, potentially reversing the industry's recent trend toward franchise-dominated production strategies. International market performance has varied by region, with some markets showing particular enthusiasm for the film's historical elements and others responding more strongly to its supernatural and thriller aspects. These regional variations provide valuable insights into global audience preferences and may influence future marketing strategies for similar films. Critical response. The critical reception of Sinners has been overwhelmingly positive, with reviewers praising virtually every aspect of the production from direction and performances to technical achievements and thematic depth. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 97% of 405 critics' reviews are positive, representing an extraordinarily high level of critical consensus rarely achieved by films in any genre. The website's consensus reads, "A rip-roaring fusion of masterful visual elements that critics have consistently highlighted in their reviews." This consensus reflects the widespread agreement among professional critics regarding the film's technical excellence and artistic achievement. Critics have particularly praised Ryan Coogler's direction, noting his successful navigation of the challenges involved in blending historical drama, supernatural horror, and social commentary into a coherent and compelling narrative. Many reviews have highlighted Coogler's ability to maintain tonal consistency while incorporating diverse genre elements, a skill that requires considerable directorial expertise and vision. Michael B. Jordan's dual-role performance has received universal critical acclaim, with many reviewers noting the complexity and nuance required to portray two distinct characters while maintaining the believable bond between twin brothers. Critics have praised Jordan's ability to differentiate the characters through subtle variations in body language, vocal patterns, and emotional expression, while maintaining the shared experiences and genetic similarities that define identical twins. The supporting cast has also received extensive critical praise, with particular attention paid to the ensemble's chemistry and their collective contribution to the film's period authenticity. Critics have noted how each supporting performance contributes to the overall world-building while maintaining individual character distinctiveness and narrative purpose. Technical aspects of the production have been consistently highlighted by critics as exceptional achievements in contemporary filmmaking. The IMAX 70mm cinematography has been praised for its clarity, composition, and atmospheric effectiveness, with many critics noting how the enhanced visual quality contributes to the film's immersive storytelling approach. Production design and costume work have received extensive critical appreciation, with reviewers noting the meticulous attention to historical detail and the authentic recreation of 1930s America. Critics have praised how these elements support the narrative without overwhelming it, creating a believable world that serves the story's dramatic and supernatural requirements. The film's sound design and musical score have been frequently mentioned in positive reviews, with critics noting how those elements enhance the atmospheric and emotional impact of the storytelling. Many reviews have highlighted the effective integration of period music with contemporary scoring techniques, creating a unique sonic landscape that supports both historical authenticity and genre requirements. Critics have also praised the film's thematic depth and social consciousness, noting how Coogler has used the supernatural genre framework to explore complex issues related to trauma, redemption, and the lasting effects of historical violence. Many reviews have appreciated the film's ability to address serious social issues without sacrificing entertainment value or genre effectiveness. Sinners, Ryan Coogler, a 105 votes in a poll of critics ranking 2025's best films demonstrates the high regard in which professional critics hold the work. This recognition from industry professionals suggests that the film's critical acclaim extends beyond popular opinion to encompass serious artistic recognition. The film's horror elements have been particularly well received by genre specialists, who have praised Coogler's approach to supernatural storytelling and his ability to create genuine tension and atmosphere without relying on cheap shock tactics or excessive gore. Genre critics have noted how the film respects horror traditions while bringing fresh perspectives and innovative techniques to familiar elements. International critics have also responded positively to the film, with many noting its universal themes and high production values that translate effectively across cultural boundaries. This international critical appreciation has contributed to the film's global box office success and cultural impact. Academic and scholarly critics have begun analyzing the film's historical accuracy, thematic complexity, and cultural significance, suggesting that Sinners may have lasting impact beyond its immediate commercial and critical success. These more in-depth analyses are exploring the film's treatment of post-war trauma, racial dynamics, and supernatural folklore traditions, cultural impact and legacy beyond its commercial and critical success. Sinners has begun to establish a significant cultural footprint that extends far beyond its immediate box office performance. The film's exploration of post-World War I African-American experiences has resonated with audiences and critics alike, contributing to important conversations about historical representation in popular media and the ongoing effects of trauma on communities and individuals. The film's success has validated the continued viability of original filmmaking in an industry increasingly focused on franchise properties and established intellectual property. This validation has implications for future industry investment patterns and may encourage studios to support more innovative and risk-taking projects from established and emerging filmmakers. Educational institutions have begun incorporating the film into curricula related to American history, film studies, and cultural analysis. The film's historically grounded approach to supernatural storytelling provides educators with an engaging tool for exploring complex historical and social issues while maintaining student interest and engagement. The film's technical achievements, particularly its use of IMAX 70mm filming, have reinforced arguments for maintaining traditional filmmaking techniques in an increasingly digital production environment. This technical choice has been celebrated by cinematography enthusiasts and film preservation advocates as an important statement about the continued relevance of film-based production methods. Cultural critics have noted how Sinners contributes to ongoing discussions about genre filmmaking's potential for addressing serious social issues. The film demonstrates how supernatural and horror elements can serve as effective vehicles for exploring complex themes related to trauma, community, and historical memory. The film's portrayal of twin brotherhood has resonated with audiences who appreciate complex family relationships in popular media. Critics and audiences have noted how the film avoids simplistic character dynamics in favor of nuanced exploration of sibling bonds, shared trauma, and individual identity development. Conclusion: Sinners, 2025, represents a watershed moment in contemporary American cinema, demonstrating that original, artistically ambitious filmmaking can achieve both critical acclaim and commercial success when executed with appropriate skill, vision, and production values. Ryan Coogler's latest directorial effort successfully synthesizes historical drama, supernatural horror, and social commentary into a cohesive and compelling narrative that honors genre traditions while pushing creative boundaries. The film's exceptional box office performance, achieving milestones not reached by original films in years, sends a clear message to industry decision-makers about audience appetite for innovative storytelling. Its critical acclaim, with near-universal positive reviews, validates Coogler's artistic vision and confirms his status as one of contemporary cinema's most important voices. Michael B. Jordan's career-defining dual-role performance demonstrates the actor's range and commitment while establishing new benchmarks for complex character work in genre filmmaking. The supporting ensemble's contributions create a rich, believable world that serves the story's dramatic and supernatural requirements while maintaining historical authenticity. The technical achievements represented by the film's IMAX 70mm presentation, meticulous production design, and sophisticated sound work establish new standards for period filmmaking and demonstrate the continued relevance of traditional filmmaking techniques in an increasingly digital production environment. Beyond its immediate artistic and commercial achievements, Sinners contributes to important cultural conversations about historical representation, trauma, and the power of genre filmmaking to address complex social issues. Its success may encourage studios to invest more heavily in original, artistically ambitious projects while providing audiences with the high-quality entertainment experiences they continue to seek. The film's cultural impact extends beyond the entertainment industry, with educational institutions, cultural critics, and social commentators recognizing its significance as both artistic achievement and cultural artifact. This broader recognition suggests that Sinners may maintain relevance and influence well beyond its initial theatrical run. As the film continues its successful theatrical run and prepares for home media release, its influence on industry practices, audience expectations, and cultural discourse continues to develop. Sinners stands as a testament to the continued power of original filmmaking to capture audience imagination while addressing the complex challenges and opportunities of contemporary society. The success of Sinners validates Ryan Coogler's artistic vision while establishing a new benchmark for original genre filmmaking in the contemporary entertainment landscape. Its achievement suggests a promising future for innovative, high-quality cinema that respects audience intelligence while delivering the entertainment value that makes theatrical experiences worthwhile and memorable. Review. 1 Ryan Coogler has done it again. A masterclass in visuals, storytelling and music, Sinners brings more than enough for the audience to sink its teeth into. If I only had one word to describe this movie, it would be rich. Rich in themes, rich in culture, rich in soul. At its very essence, Sinners is a movie about community and culture, and the sense of freedom those things bring us. The movie is set in 1932 and follows criminal twin brothers Elijah Smokemore and Elias Stackmore, both played by Michael B. Jordan, Black Panther, Just Mercy, as they return to their hometown in the Mississippi Delta to open up a juke joint. They gather people to help out in this endeavor, including their silky-voiced, musically gifted younger cousin Sammy Preacher Boy Moore, Miles Caton, local blues player Delta Slim, Delroy Lindo, Malcolm X, Gone in 60 Seconds, and singer Pearline, Jamie Lawson, the Woman King, Till, field worker and club bouncer Cornbread, Omar Benson Miller, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, Chinese Shopkeepers Bu, Yao, Bar's Social Club, and Grace Chow, Lee Jun Lee, Babylon, and Smoke's Wife Annie, Wanmi Mosaku, Lovecraft Country, Deadpool Wolverine, as the cook. They also run into Stack's white-passing ex-girlfriend Mary, Hailee Steinfeld, Pitch Perfect 2, Hawkeye, who is not too happy about the way things ended. On the night of the grand opening, Preacher Boy's soulful music conjures up spirits from the past and future and attracts the attention of the Irish vampire remake, Jack O'Connell, 300, Rise of an Empire, Eda Lake. The night that was meant for celebration quickly becomes one of survival and forces us to wonder, what makes us truly free? There is no doubt that cinema's favorite monster is the vampire. From Dracula to Twilight and now Sinners, the vampire is a creature that allows for deep and interesting exploration for a plethora of themes. With Sinners, we see the vampires as a metaphor for colonization and white supremacy, wanting to come into a place that is not theirs and take it over. There is this idea of the vampires having their souls trapped in their bodies as a sort of purgatory, and that paralleling the Jim Crow South as a purgatory for black people, free, but in name only, never truly being able to move up in the world. Remix Irish origin showing that even those who were once oppressed do not gain freedom by oppressing others. With every scene there is something new to interpret and analyze. You can tell that Coogler did his research with subtle moments like the wooden nickels to the Chow's two separate story, one for black people and one for white people, giving glimpses into the history of the Jim Crow South. It's a movie that rewards rewatching, as each viewing allows you to peel more and more layers and come up with new interpretations. We also cannot talk about Sinners without mentioning the music. As a Mexican-American, music has been one of the primary sources I have to connect to that part of myself, so it was a profound experience for me to see music be used and described the way it is in the film. It is something that is meant to connect us to people we may have never met, but we are linked to in some way. Composer Ludwig G. Apilkro-Ranson brings to life the blues music in this film, imbuing it with an infectious energy that feels timeless. Highlights include I Lied to You and Pale Pale Moon, and you can't deny that the Irish folk songs also made you want to do a little jig. The lyrics of each song help to emphasize the themes of the story and establish the characters' arcs as well. It is a celebration of a style of music that was created by black for black people, a thing that was not forced on them. It isn't often we get a musical horror movie. All that is left is a surprise appearance by Tim Curry. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the visuals of the movie. Finally, a movie that knows how to do lighting. When you see this movie, watch it in IMAX. Cinematographer Autumn Durrell Darkopo made history with this project, and I am not just saying that because this movie is a period piece, but because she is the first woman to ever film with an IMAX film camera. The shots of the nature are lush, and you can feel the heat of the dusty towns and fields. The night scenes are also lit well enough for me to actually see what is happening while maintaining the unease. The way the camera moves in certain scenes makes you feel like you are floating and you experience every emotion, especially during the musical sequences. No review can truly do justice to not only how great, but how important this movie is. It is a celebration of black culture and the power and connection. It is erratic, thrilling, moving, suspenseful, captivating and transcendent all at once. If you are looking for a movie that can satiate multiple cravings, then Sinners is the way to go. Angela Garcia Review. 2 There is nothing inherently wrong with a filmmaker taking on franchise titles, but it has been over a decade since moviegoers have seen an original feature from director Ryan Coogler. He made his breathtaking debut in 2013 with the powerful Fruitvale Station, but since then has dedicated his focus to existing intellectual properties, first with Creed and then with the 2 Black Panther blockbusters. Each of those titles came with certain strings attached, but Coogler nevertheless showcased himself as an extraordinary talent, and now that he's back to making pure originals, he has successfully crafted his best movie yet in Sinners. The film is a multifaceted period epic that is so good in so many ways that it's actually a challenge to identify its singular best quality, which I suppose makes its greatest aspect the ability to confidently juggle so much so well. I love it as a Prohibition-era gangster story, with its colorful but shady fraternal protagonists building the business of their dreams in their hometown. I love it as a fierce and dark vampire film that sets up a horrific siege with a freaky collection of sinister bloodsuckers. I love it as a celebration of black music, both for its incredible musical sequences and comment on its power in the culture. And I love everything that ties all those branches and more together. In a dual performance, Michael B. Jordan stars as twins Smoke and Stack, who return to their hometown in Mississippi after spending years away building reputations and lives for themselves in Chicago. Upon their return, it's their ambition to use a great deal of cash at their disposal to purchase a mill and transform it into a juke joint to serve the black community in the segregated South. They have whiskey and beer supplies to really get the party started, and their ace in the hole is their cousin Sammy Preacher Boy Moore, Miles Caton, who has turned himself to a tremendously talented guitar player and blues singer. Their personal connections in the area allow them to find local help for the endeavor. Smoke's estranged wife Annie, Bunmi Mozaku, does the cooking. Delta Slim, Delroy Lindo, and Pearline, Jamie Lawson, agree to perform. Business owners Grace Chow, Lee Jun Lee, and her husband Bo Yao, provides supplies and signage and cornbread. Omar Benson Miller gets hired to watch the door. Amid this recruiting, however, conflict begins to brew, and not just because Stack's former flame Mary, Hailee Steinfeld, discovers he is back in town. A vampire named Remak, Jack O'Connell, arrives on the scene, and after doing a bit of recruiting of his own, Lola Kirk and Peter Drumenis, he sets his sights on the opening night of Club Juke. Ryan Coogler's Sinners introduces a rich world full of complex and wonderful characters. It is long before vampires crash the party that Sinners successfully dazzles, as it doesn't take blood-sucking monsters to invest the audience in the fates of the characters. The charisma and ambition they express takes care of that, as personality and spirit make you want them to succeed. There are shady actions behind the protagonist's ability to purchase the mill and provide booze in light of the notorious laws of the era banning the production and consumption of alcohol, which itself adds to the stakes. But the non-capitalist goal of the juke joint is creating a safe space full of music and joy for a community in need of one, and it's built on fantastic character dynamics in the Mississippi Delta. Just when I thought I was getting a little fatigued of dual performances in 2025, Sinners follows Osgood Perkins the Monkey, Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17, and Barry Levinson's Alto Knights employing this cinematic trick. In comes Michael B. Jordan to deliver the best of them all. The sharp costume designed by the great Truth T. Carter provides an assist to the audience in coloring the characters, a smoke accented with blue, stack accented with red, but those contrasting shades highlight their respective ice and fire personalities that set them apart from each other beyond sartorial choices. Working from Coogler's dynamite script, Jordan, one of the best actors of his generation, provides both roles with complexity that reflects individual lives while also maintaining the loving connection of twins who have spent their whole existences together. Jordan's work is supported by an outstanding ensemble of personalities, and there is an openness and comfort in all of them that make the world feel perfectly lived in. It helps that there aren't exposition potholes that feel like the characters are explaining themselves to the audience instead of speaking to one another. From the phenomenal musical talent of Miles Caton's Sammy Moore, to the humorous drunken no-bullshit attitude of Del Royal and Dos Delta Slim, to the trauma and spiritualism of one Mimosa Kuzani, Sinners provides a look into a collection of rich lives, and when it becomes a real threat, you really don't want to see any of them getting their throats ripped out by creatures of the night. Sinners is a stunning work of art that you shouldn't deprive your eyeballs of. Ryan Coogler reunited with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever cinematographer Autumn Durrell Darkapwa shooting Sinners entirely in IMAX, and the collaboration and expansive format yields breathtaking images long before the main action kicks off. But when that time does come, it hits a new level and becomes heart-stopping wonder. A truly great on-screen party makes you want to jump out of your seat and join the revelry, and Coogler's work understands that a broken bar, but it becomes so much more. When we look back on the decade that we are presently halfway though, I can say with complete confidence that we will look back on Sammy's performance at Club Juke being regarded as one of the most incredible cinematic achievements of the era, the camera gliding through the space in a wonder and examining every era of black music, from the past to the present to the future. I've never seen anything like it, and it demands to be seen on the grandest screen available. And a special hat tip must be proffered to composer Ludwig G. Tilde Pilcrow Ranson, whose work on the music instantly convinced me to purchase both the soundtrack and score. The fact that all of this magnificence unfurls before the vampires truly enter the plot is stunning, and there most certainly isn't any kind of quality dip as the film makes its from dusk till dawn-esque switch up in genre. Horror is a new flavor for Ryan Coogler, but so were boxing movies and Marvel blockbusters prior to his last three features, and he proves equally adept at baring fangs and letting the blood flow. Sinners abides by traditions, like Nightwalkers requiring invitation and weapons like stakes and holy water, but Coogler also has his own vicious ideas that he employs as he crafts his own metaphor with monsters. It's a tremendous and fascinating nightmare. There are only a few filmmakers left in Hollywood with the proper clout to execute singular, original visions with substantial budgets, and I'm beyond hopeful that Sinners will be viewed as Ryan Coogler's ticket into the echelon that includes Quentin Tarantino, Jordan Peele, and Christopher Nolan. It's a remarkable achievement from every angle, and a blissful cinematic experience. Review. 3 After industry estimates had the third weekend of a Minecraft movie topping the critically acclaimed Sinners at the Easter box office on Saturday morning, The two Warner Brothers films have swapped places atop the box office charts, as Ryan Coogler's horror film is now estimated for $45.6 million opening weekend. Should this result hold, Sinners will pass the $44.3 million opening of Jordan Peele's 2022 film Nope for the highest opening of an original film since the pandemic. Not only is that highly likely, it wouldn't be surprising if the final weekend total for Sinners is higher than this current estimate, given that it is enjoying some of the most spectacular critical and audience buzz given to any film in recent memory. It starts with a straight A from opening night audiences on CinemaScore, the first given to a horror film since James Cameron's Aliens in 1986. It then continues with a 5.5 and 84% definite recommend rating on PostTrack and unbelievable Rotten Tomatoes scores of 98% critics and 97% audience. According to PostTrack, about 3/5 of tickets sold for Sinners on Friday were walk-up sales, showing how quickly this incredibly positive word of mouth is spreading. As expected for a film from the director of Black Panther, Black audiences are the top demographic at 49% on opening night, followed by 27% white and 14% Latino, with extremely high scores across all demos. This strong result isn't enough to get Sinners past the break-even point yet, as it has a reported net $90 million budget before marketing costs. But all signs point to the film legging out extremely well, especially with another weekend of IMAX and premium format support still ahead before the arrival of Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts, along with casual audiences who may heard about the film for the first time thanks to the post-release buzz. There is likely a section of Coogler's fanbase that still hasn't seen the film yet because they are waiting for a convenient time to see it on an IMAX screen. Meanwhile, Warner Brothers' other big hit, a Minecraft movie, is still setting the bar high as 2025's highest-grossing film with an excellent $41.3 million third weekend, putting the film's domestic total at $345 million and its global total at $720 million, as it is now a lock to cross the $1 billion mark worldwide. After a negative reception to its first trailer last year, the video game adaptation has completely turned things around with family audiences with its meme-driven buzz. As Sinners and Minecraft have dragged the box office out of its deep March slump and account for 64% of this weekend's grosses, they mark a major victory for Warner Brothers film chiefs Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi, who were facing murmurs in media reports that Warner Discovery CEO David Zaslav was considering replacing them. Sinners in particular is a major victory for the two execs, as it is one of a series of original, auteur-driven films that DeLuca and Abdi staked major money on in their efforts to rebuild Warner's image as a filmmaker-friendly studio following the shocking departure of Christopher Nolan to Universal prior to their arrival in 2021. As part of that effort, DeLuca and Abdi agreed to extremely favorable terms for Coogler to bring Sinners onto their slate, including returning the film's rights to the director after 25 years. As we continue to strive to bring an array of films to moviegoers, we are thrilled to see how Ryan Coogler's original movie A Sinners, and a movie based on this fan favorite A Minecraft game, have resonated with audiences in such a stellar way. DeLuca and Abdi said in a statement on Sunday, "Movies have the power to transport us to worlds only seen on the big screen, and Warner Brothers Pictures remains committed to bringing singular in-theater experiences to audiences looking for bold movies, both original and those based on beloved existing properties." The big original gambles from DeLuca and Abdi will continue in the year ahead, as Paul Thomas Anderson's big-budget crime drama one battle after another hits theaters in late September with a similar level of premium format support as Sinners, followed by Maggie Gyllenhaal's stylized horror film The Bride. In March 2026, Warner Brothers isn't the only studio with reason to celebrate this Easter. Angel Studios' first animated release, The King of Kings, is continuing its strong performance with $17.2 million in its second weekend and a 10-day total of $45.3 million. Christian audiences have shown in recent weeks with the success of Fathoms The Chosen, Last Supper that they have plenty of appetite for cinematic takes on the gospel and have shown it again as this Moffat animation production has dropped just 12% from its $19 million opening weekend. At Angel, our Angel Guild plays a crucial role in picking winners, and this film is a testament to that vision. Angel Studios distribution chief Brandon Purdy said in a statement, "The King of Kings is an epic, emotional journey made for the big screen. Theaters are responding by making room, and audiences are flocking in droves, speaking loud and clear. They're here for stories that amplify light." Disney/20th Century's The Amateur and A24's Warfare complete the top 5, with The Amateur grossing $6.8 million in its second weekend. The spy revenge thriller starring Rami Malek is shaping up to be a theatrical dud with $27 million domestic and $64 million worldwide after 2 weekends against a $60 million budget before marketing. Warfare adds $4.8 million in its second weekend, giving it a $17.1 million total after 2 weekends. While well received from audiences, its graphic and realistic depiction of the Iraq War is keeping its audience appeal limited as it has yet to break even against its $20 million budget. Thanks in large part to Warner's 1-2 punch of hits, April has been the drought buster that theaters have seriously needed as domestic totals for the year reached $2 billion on Sunday. After the first quarter of the year finished nearly 12% behind that of 2024, the year-to-date annual total is now 6.2% ahead of last year's pace, while the deficit compared to 2023 levels has reduced from 17% to 14.4%. Review. For Sinners is a Trojan horse. On the surface, writer-director Ryan Coogler has acknowledged that he borrowed aspects of the scenario from Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn, 1996. Those familiar with the film will remember how it began as a thriller about 2 sibling convicts headed for Mexico, only to switch genres mid-story into a bloody vampire yarn. Similarly, Coogler's story takes place in the Jim Crow South, following identical twin brothers, both played by Michael B. Jordan. The brothers start a juke joint and, just like Rodriguez's movie, about halfway through, a creature of the night arrives to cause havoc, a secret the studio's promotional department does not conceal in its marketing. The film is remarkable partly because it's founded on patient character work, filmmaking bravura, and effective scares. Besides being an excellent vampire film, sure to please crowds, Coogler also sneaks in a potent and subversive commentary with provocative themes that, frankly, shocked, impressed, and delighted me perhaps even more than his terrific execution of a vampire film. Sinners might be the most transgressive mainstream release by a major studio in 2025. Coogler weaves his iconoclastic ideas into a popular milieu, disguising but never underplaying them. This is no surprise from the Black Panther, 2018, director, who managed to comment on the history of colonialism, black heritage, and racial oppression with an anti-colonial revenge plot in a Marvel feature. Coogler's perspective has been embedded into his films from the start with Fruitvale Station, 2013, a remarkable debut about the police killing of Oscar Grant in 2009. From there, his career has come to resemble the trajectory of Christopher Nolan. Both filmmakers started with small, independently produced original features, followed by a period of masterminding major, distinct commercial successes for studios based on established intellectual properties. Both also finally earned enough clout with executives to develop original storytelling on a blockbuster-sized scale. Sinners takes its time to build characters and give them dimension before Coogler turns his story on its head. The year is 1932 in Mississippi, and Sammy, Miles Caton, his clothes bloodied and face scratched as if by a claw, arrives at the church where his pastor father gives his Sunday sermon. Sammy's father pleads with his brilliantly talented son to put down his prized guitar, the broken neck gripped in his hand. "You keep dancing with the devil, one day he's going to follow you home," he's told. Accurately enough, a day earlier, ambitious and relentless brothers Smoke and Stack, Jordan, returned to town after 7 years to buy an old mill to establish a juke joint. This comes after fighting in the First World War, followed by a period of robberies, pimping, and working for organized crime bosses in Chicago. They purchased the building from the rotund Hogwood, David Maldonado, who promises no trouble from local factions. The Klan doesn't exist anymore, he promises, prompting a collective eye roll from the audience and suspicions that remain unconfirmed until the cathartic finale. Afterward, the twins organize a real ring-a-ding-ding for that Saturday night. It's fueled by a stockpile of Irish beer and Italian wine in their truck, help from a husband and wife team of Chinese grocers, Lee Jun Lee, Yao, and music by Sammy and Delta Slim, an alcoholic blues man, Delroy Lindo, giving a performance that could earn him the Oscar he should have gotten for Da5 Bloods, 2020. Coogler's patience and the outstanding cast ensure no character feels one note, including Stack's former lover Mary, Hailee Steinfeld, and Annie, Bunmi Mosaku, a hoodoo conjurer whose fiery past romance with Smoke smolders again upon his return. Then, Coogler cuts to a man named Rimac, Jack O'Connell, who seems to drop in out of nowhere, sizzling like he's fresh from the grill of a greasy spoon and pursued by a group of Choctaw men. Buzzards usher him to a small country house where a KKK couple, Joan and Bert, Lola Kirk, Peter Dermenes, fall victim to Remic's spite. Before long, Remic's new trio arrives at the sweaty, sultry, joyous party thrown by Smoke and Stack, asking to be invited instead of a vamp calling card. When they eventually reveal their intentions, what follows is an intense bloodbath. From a horror aficionado's perspective, specifically concerning the vampire subgenre, Sinners ranks among the best ever media, the rare example of a genre effort that takes itself seriously as art. It belongs in the same conversation as Neil Jordan's Interview with the Vampire, 1994, and Byzantium, 2011, Bill Gunn's Ganja Hess, 1973, and Park Chan-wook's Thirst, 2009. Coogler is an evident fan, yet he creatively innovates and repurposes vampire motifs, such as Rimac adding knowledge and experience to a veritable hive mind with each new member he turns to his collective. This leads to the inevitable scene referencing The Thing, 1982, or, in keeping with the Rodriguez homage, The Faculty, 1998, where a few survivors munch on garlic to reveal who among them is a bloodsucker. Coogler's vampires are vicious creatures who sing, dance, kill, and contort with nightmarish intensity. They loom in the shadows, their eyes glowing metallic red among the fireflies, before revealing the convincing practical makeup and vampire effects. From nasty bites to burning corpses. This is what great storytelling looks like from both structural and formal perspectives. Working with cinematographer Autumn Durrell Arcapa, Coogler shot Sinners on 65mm celluloid and printed it on 70mm, giving the picture incredible detail and luminous colors. The visuals have the kind of textures only a photochemical process can deliver, with heavy shadows and earthy colors in the vivid scenes of dancing, erotic sex, and gory chaos. The palette evokes the pastor and never has the digital sheen of most movies in the 2020s. Some scenes, mostly the exteriors captured on various locations in Louisiana, were shot in an immersive IMAX frame, resulting in an aspect ratio that shifts or switches depending on the circumstances. For a climactic battle, the screen opens up, prompting the viewer to lean in with the expansion. Coogler's approach to audio is just as engaging. More than once in the film, a character tells a story about a past trauma, and echoes of the incident play out of the scene like a memory pressing on the back of the mind. Moreover, a haunting score by Ludwig G. Tilde Pilkro-Ranson and music performed by Caton, a genuine musical prodigy, ring out among the film's many musical genres. Like most technical aspects of Sinners, Coogler reinforces his themes with music. Sammy and Delta Slim play the blues, which the letter describes as the only true black music, not something thrust upon them by the white community. Rimac and his Vaplackies, too, sing harmonious but stringy Irish folk songs, such as Wild Mountain Thyme, to an impressed audience. When his fanged posse gathers in the night for an Irish vampire dance, it's both impressive and unnerving enough to intimidate Michael Flatley. Elsewhere, inside Smoke and Stack's night spot, an inspired and mildly anachronistic sequence unfolds to Sammy's music, which transcends time and sounds so true it can pierce the veil between life and death. Suddenly, amid the Southern black community in the 1930s, performers, dances, and rhythms spanning hundreds of years play out in a layered audio-visual polyphony. It ranges from African tribal music to contemporary hip-hop to ballet dance for an overwhelming look at the evolution of black music conjured by Sammy's supernatural sound. The playfully dreamlike sequence soon finds everyone dancing amid the mill and fiery ashes, a symbol of the bliss art can bring even amid a devastated infrastructure. Sinners is all the more potent given Warner Brothers' decision to release it, after much reshuffling, on Easter weekend. It's a confronting choice for a film that thumbs its nose at organized religion and links the methods of Christians to the groupthink mentality of remix vampires, even the collective mindset of the Ku Klux Klan. The central question in the film is whether Sammy will pursue his passion to play music or set aside his uncanny skill to follow in his pastor father's footsteps. More to the point, Coogler questions what, if anything, must be sacrificed to give the illusion of freedom and inclusion. Indeed, it's tempting to join the open arms of organized religion or other such groups. But Remake notes how they attempt to shape and mollify black anger to their cause, despite not giving their community any real power or fellowship. However, Remake's offer of freedom is no less an indoctrination. More than once in the film, characters mention how white people forced words upon us, referring to Christian mythology and prayers. Remake is an alternative, but no less rooted in conditioning. He converts people by stealing their lives and brainwashing them into his hive. Coogler's film warns against believing the hype of organizations, political groups, or religions proclaiming to champion freedom. One group's definition of freedom often means the oppression of another group. This reality is playing out in the United States today, and it's urgently present in Sinners without overstating the connection. Coogler argues that the only absolute freedom lies in that which you create, from works of art to the passion between two people. Sammy's blues music becomes a key sound for Coogler because African Americans developed it in the years after the Civil War. It wasn't part of a white cultural colonization as Christianity was. Almost as transgressive to his film's remarks about organized religion, Christian or vampire, Coogler openly celebrates female pleasure, with the focus on oral sex, in several brief asides, suggesting a sly dig at certain religious and ultra-conservative groups that deem non-vaginal sex unnatural or, to use the title's root word, sinful. In the film's terms, our heroes are sinners because they play the music they want and have sex that feels good, especially for women. Watching Sinners feels like an electric charge. It's the kind of film that's so assured, so well executed, so thematically full, and so engaging that I was left with goosebumps. In the way only filmmakers such as Stanley Kubrick, Steven Spielberg, and Christopher Nolan have, Coogler takes an overdone genre and delivers a spectacle that's a technical wonder and an intellectual gift. That's been his unique skill since he first arrived on the scene over a decade ago, blending popular formats with topical issues and political engagement. Coogler ultimately walks the walk in the same way Sammy finds freedom through his music and not by adopting and repeating the lessons of some imperialist, colonizer, or religious proselytizer, but by creating something that feels unique to him. Even while delivering the requisite thrills and chills of a vampire yarn, Coogler's passion, energy, and politics pulse through every frame of Sinners, one of 2025's most entertaining and intelligent films. Review. 5 Sinners is a Trojan horse. On the surface, writer-director Ryan Coogler has acknowledged that he borrowed aspects of the scenario from Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn, 1996. Those familiar with the film will remember how it began as a thriller about two sibling convicts headed for Mexico, only to switch genres mid-story into a bloody vampire yarn. Similarly, Coogler's story takes place in the Jim Crow South, following identical twin brothers, both played by Michael B. Jordan. The brothers start a juke joint and, just like Rodriguez's movie, about halfway through, a creature of the night arrives to cause havoc, a secret the studio's promotional department does not conceal in its marketing. The film is remarkable partly because it's founded on patient character work, filmmaking bravura, and effective scares. Besides being an excellent vampire film, sure to please crowds, Coogler also sneaks in a potent and subversive commentary with provocative themes that, frankly, shocked, impressed, and delighted me perhaps even more than his terrific execution of a vampire film. Sinners might be the most transgressive mainstream release by a major studio in 2025. Coogler weaves his iconoclastic ideas into a popular milieu, disguising but never underplaying them. This is no surprise from the Black Panther, 2018, director, who managed to comment on the history of colonialism, black heritage, and racial oppression with an anti-colonial revenge plot in a Marvel feature. Coogler's perspective has been embedded into his films from the start with Fruitvale Station, 2013, a remarkable debut about the police killing of Oscar Grant in 2009. From there, his career has come to resemble the trajectory of Christopher Nolan. Both filmmakers started with small, independently produced original features, followed by a period of masterminding major, distinct commercial successes for studios based on established intellectual properties. Both also finally earned enough clout with executives to develop original storytelling on a blockbuster-sized scale. Sinners takes its time to build characters and give them dimension before Coogler turns his story on its head. The year is 1932 in Mississippi, and Sammy, Miles Caton, his clothes bloodied and face scratched as if by a claw, arrives at the church where his pastor father gives his Sunday sermon. Sammy's father pleads with his brilliantly talented son to put down his prized guitar, the broken neck grip in his hand. "You keep dancing with the devil, one day he's going to follow you home," he's told. Accurately enough, a day earlier, ambitious and relentless brothers Smoke and Stack, Jordan, returned to town after 7 years to buy an old mill to establish a juke joint. This comes after fighting in the First World War, followed by a period of robberies, pimping, and working for organized crime bosses in Chicago. They purchased the building from the rotund Hogwood, David Maldonado, who promises no trouble from local factions. The Klan doesn't exist anymore, he promises, prompting a collective eye roll from the audience and suspicions that remain unconfirmed until the cathartic finale. Afterward, the twins organize a real ring-a-ding-ding for that Saturday night. It's fueled by a stockpile of Irish beer and Italian wine in their truck, help from a husband and wife team of Chinese grocers, Lee Jun Lee, Yao, and music by Sammy and Delta Slim, an alcoholic blues man, Delroy Lindo, giving a performance that could earn him the Oscar he should have gotten for Da 5 Bloods, 2020. Coogler's patience and the outstanding cast ensure no character feels one note, including Stack's former lover Mary, Hailee Steinfeld, and Annie, Bunmi Mosaku, a hoodoo conjurer whose fiery past romance with Smoke smolders again upon his return. Then, Coogler cuts to a man named Remak, Jack O'Connell, who seems to drop in out of nowhere, sizzling like he's fresh from the grill of a greasy spoon and pursued by a group of Choctaw men. Buzzards usher him to a small country house where a KKK couple, Joan and Bert, Lola Kirk, Peter Dermenes, fall victim to Remak's spite. Before long, Remak's new trio arrives at the sweaty, sultry, joyous party thrown by Smoke and Stack, asking to be invited instead of a vamp calling card. When they eventually reveal their intentions, what follows is an intense bloodbath. From a horror aficionado's perspective, specifically concerning the vampire subgenre, Sinners ranks among the best ever made, the rare example of a genre effort that takes itself seriously as art. It belongs in the same conversation as Neil Jordan's Interview with the Vampire, 1994, and Byzantium, 2011, Bill Gunn's Ganja Hess, 1973, and Park Chan-wook's Thirst, 2009. Coogler is an evident fan, yet he creatively innovates and repurposes vampire motifs, such as Remak adding knowledge and experience to a veritable hive mind with each new member he turns to his collective. This leads to the inevitable scene referencing The Thing, 1982, or, in keeping with the Rodriguez homage, The Faculty, 1998, where a few survivors munch on garlic to reveal who among them is a bloodsucker. Coogler's vampires are vicious creatures who sing, dance, kill, and contort with nightmarish intensity. They loom in the shadows, their eyes glowing metallic red among the fireflies, before revealing the convincing practical makeup and vampire effects, From nasty bites to burning corpses. This is what great storytelling looks like from both structural and formal perspectives. Working with cinematographer Autumn Durrell Arcapa, Coogler shot scenes on 65mm celluloid and printed it on 70mm, giving the picture incredible detail and luminous colors. The visuals have the kind of textures only a photochemical process can deliver, with heavy shadows and earthy colors in the vivid scenes of dancing, erotic sex, and gory chaos. The palette evokes the past and never has the digital sheen of most movies in the 2020s. Some scenes, mostly the exteriors captured on various locations in Louisiana, were shot in an immersive IMAX frame, resulting in an aspect ratio that shifts or switches depending on the circumstances. For a climactic battle, the screen opens up, prompting the viewer to lean in with the expansion. Coogler's approach to audio is just as engaging. More than once in the film, a character tells a story about a past trauma, and echoes of the incident play out of the scene like a memory pressing on the back of the mind. Moreover, a haunting score by Ludwig G. Tilde Pilkro-Ranson and music performed by Caton, a genuine musical prodigy, ring out among the film's many musical genres. Like most technical aspects of Sinners, Coogler reinforces his themes with music. Sammy and Delta Slim play the blues, which the letter describes as the only true black music, not something thrust upon them by the white community. Remick and his Vaplackies, too, sing harmonious but stringy Irish folk songs, such as Wild Mountain Thyme, to an impressed audience. When his fanged posse gathers in the night for an Irish vampire dance, it's both impressive and unnerving enough to intimidate Michael Flatley. Elsewhere, inside Smoke and Stack's night spot, an inspired and mildly anachronistic sequence unfolds to Sammy's music, which transcends time and sounds so true it can pierce the veil between life and death. Suddenly, amid the southern black community in the 1930s, performers, dances, and rhythms spanning hundreds of years play out in a layered audio-visual polyphony. It ranges from African tribal music to contemporary hip-hop to ballet dance, for an overwhelming look at the evolution of black music conjured by Sammy's supernatural sound. The playfully dreamlike sequence soon finds everyone dancing amid the mill and fiery ashes, a symbol of the bliss art can bring even amid a devastated infrastructure. Sinners is all the more potent given Warner Brothers' decision to release it, after much reshuffling, on Easter weekend. It's a confronting choice for a film that thumbs its nose at organized religion and links the methods of Christians to the groupthink mentality of Remick's vampire essay, even the collective mindset of the Ku Klux Klan. The central question in the film is whether Sammy will pursue his passion to play music or set aside his uncanny skill to follow in his pastor father's footsteps. More to the point, Coogler questions what, if anything, must be sacrificed to give the illusion of freedom and inclusion. Indeed, it's tempting to join the open arms of organized religion or other such groups, but Remick notes how they attempt to shape and mollify black anger to their cause, despite not giving their community any real power or fellowship. However, Remick's offer of freedom is no less an indoctrination. More than once in the film, characters mention how white people forced words upon us, referring to Christian mythology and prayers. Remick is an alternative, but no less rooted in conditioning. He converts people by stealing their lives and brainwashing them into his hive. Coogler's film warns against believing the hype of organizations, political groups, or religions proclaiming to champion freedom. One group's definition of freedom often means the oppression of another group. This reality is playing out in the United States today, and it's urgently present in Sinners without overstating the connection. Coogler argues that the only absolute freedom lies in that which you create, from works of art to the passion between two people. Sammy's blues music becomes a key sound for Coogler because African Americans developed it in the years after the Civil War. It wasn't part of a white cultural colonization as Christianity was. Almost as transgressive to his film's remarks about organized religion, Christian or vampire, Coogler openly celebrates female pleasure, with the focus on oral sex, in several brief asides, suggesting a sly dig at certain religious and ultra-conservative groups that deem non-vaginal sex unnatural or, to use the title's root word, sinful. In the film's terms, our heroes are sinners because they play the music they want and have sex that feels good, especially for women. Watching Sinners feels like an electric charge. It's the kind of film that's so assured, so well executed, so thematically full, and so engaging that I was left with goosebumps. In the way only filmmakers such as Stanley Kubrick, Steven Spielberg, and Christopher Nolan have, Coogler takes an overdone genre and delivers a spectacle that's a technical wonder and an intellectual gift. That's been his unique skill since he first arrived on the scene over a decade ago, blending popular formats with topical issues and political engagement. Coogler ultimately walks the walk in the same way Sammy finds freedom through his music and not by adopting and repeating the lessons of some imperialist, colonizer, or religious proselytizer, but by creating something that feels unique to him. Even while delivering the requisite thrills and chills of a vampire yarn, Coogler's passion, energy, and politics pulse through every frame of Sinners, one of 2025's most entertaining and intelligent films. Review. For Sinners is a Trojan horse. On the surface, writer-director Ryan Coogler has acknowledged that he borrowed aspects of the scenario from Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn, 1996. Those familiar with the film will remember how it began as a thriller about two sibling convicts headed for Mexico, only to switch genres mid-story into a bloody vampire yarn. Similarly, Coogler's story takes place in the Jim Crow South, following identical twin brothers, both played by Michael B. Jordan. The brothers start a juke joint and, just like Rodriguez's movie, about halfway through, a creature of the night arrives to cause havoc, a secret the studio's promotional department does not conceal in its marketing. The film is remarkable partly because it's founded on patient character work, filmmaking bravura, and effective scares. Besides being an excellent vampire film, sure to please crowds, Coogler also sneaks in a potent and subversive commentary with provocative themes that, frankly, shocked, impressed, and delighted me perhaps even more than his terrific execution of a vampire film. Sinners might be the most transgressive mainstream release by a major studio in 2025. Coogler weaves his iconoclastic ideas into a popular milieu, disguising but never underplaying them. This is no surprise from the Black Panther, 2018, director, who managed to comment on the history of colonialism, black heritage, and racial oppression with an anti-colonial revenge plot in a Marvel feature. Coogler's perspective has been embedded into his films from the start with Fruitvale Station, 2013, a remarkable debut about the police killing of Oscar Grant in 2009. From there, his career has come to resemble the trajectory of Christopher Nolan. Both filmmakers started with small, independently produced original features, followed by a period of masterminding major, distinct commercial successes for studios based on established intellectual properties. Both also finally earned enough clout with executives to develop original storytelling on a blockbuster-sized scale. Sinners takes its time to build characters and give them dimension before Coogler turns his story on its head. The year is 1932 in Mississippi, and Sammy, Miles Caton, his clothes bloodied and face scratched as if by a claw, arrives at the church where his pastor father gives his Sunday sermon. Sammy's father pleads with his brilliantly talented son to put down his prized guitar, the broken neck gripped in his hand. "You keep dancing with the devil, one day he's going to follow you home," he's told. Accurately enough, a day earlier, ambitious and relentless brothers Smoke and Stack, Jordan, returned to town after 7 years to buy an old mill to establish a juke joint. This comes after fighting in the First World War, followed by a period of robberies, pimping, and working for organized crime bosses in Chicago. They purchased the building from the rotund Hogwood, David Maldonado, who promises no trouble from local factions. The Klan doesn't exist anymore, he promises, prompting a collective eye roll from the audience and suspicions that remain unconfirmed until the cathartic finale. Afterward, the twins organize a real ring-a-ding-ding for that Saturday night. It's fueled by a stockpile of Irish beer and Italian wine in their truck, help from a husband and wife team of Chinese grocers, Lee Jun Lee, Yao, and music by Sammy and Delta Slim, an alcoholic blues man, Delroy Lindo, giving a performance that could earn him the Oscar he should have gotten for Da 5 Bloods, 2020. Coogler's patience and the outstanding cast ensure no character feels one note, including Stack's former lover Mary, Hailee Steinfeld, and Annie, Bunmi Mosaku, a hoodoo conjurer whose fiery past romance with Smoke smolders again upon his return. Then, Coogler cuts to a man named Rimac, Jack O'Connell, who seems to drop in out of nowhere, sizzling like he's fresh from the grill of a greasy spoon and pursued by a group of Choctaw men. Buzzards usher him to a small country house where a KKK couple, Joan and Bert, Lola Kirk, Peter Germanis, fall victim to Remac's spite. Before long, Remac's new trio arrives at the sweaty, sultry, joyous party thrown by Smoke and Stack, asking to be invited instead of vamp calling card. When they eventually reveal their intentions, what follows is an intense bloodbath. From a horror aficionado's perspective, specifically concerning the vampire subgenre, Sinners ranks among the best ever. The rare example of a genre effort that takes itself seriously as art. It belongs in the same conversation as Neil Jordan's Interview with the Vampire, 1994, and Byzantium, 2011, Bill Gunn's Ganja Hess, 1973, and Park Chan-wook's Thirst, 2009. Coogler is an evident fan, yet he creatively innovates and repurposes vampire motifs, such as Rimac adding knowledge and experience to a veritable hive mind with each new member he turns to his collective. This leads to the inevitable scene referencing The Thing, 1982, or, in keeping with the Rodriguez homage, The Faculty, 1998, where a few survivors munch on garlic to reveal who among them is a bloodsucker. Coogler's vampires are vicious creatures who sing, dance, kill, and contort with nightmarish intensity. They loom in the shadows, their eyes glowing metallic red among the fireflies, before revealing the convincing practical makeup and vampire effects, from nasty bites to burning corpses. This is what great storytelling looks like from both structural and formal perspectives. Working with cinematographer Autumn Durrell-Arcapa, Coogler shot Sinners on 65mm celluloid and printed it on 70mm, giving the picture incredible detail and luminous colors. The visuals have the kind of textures only a photochemical process can deliver, with heavy shadows and earthy colors in the vivid scenes of dancing, erotic sex, and gory chaos. The palette evokes the past and never has the digital sheen of most movies in the 2020s. Some scenes, mostly the exteriors captured on various locations in Louisiana, were shot in an immersive IMAX frame, resulting in an aspect ratio that shifts or switches depending on the circumstances. For a climactic battle, the screen opens up, prompting the viewer to lean in with the expansion. Coogler's approach to audio is just as engaging. More than once in the film, a character tells a story about a past trauma, and echoes of the incident play out of the scene like a memory pressing on the back of the mind. Moreover, a haunting score by Ludwig G. Tilde Pilkro-Ranson and music performed by Caton, a genuine musical prodigy, ring out among the film's many musical genres. Like most technical aspects of Sinners, Coogler reinforces his themes with music. Sammy and Delta Slim play the blues, which the letter describes as the only true black music, not something thrust upon them by the white community. Rimac and his vamp lackeys, too, sing harmonious but stringy Irish folk songs, such as Wild Mountain Time, to an impressed audience. When his fanged posse gathers in the night for an Irish vampire dance, it's both impressive and unnerving enough to intimidate Michael Flatley. Elsewhere, inside Smoke and Stack's night spot, an inspired and mildly anachronistic sequence unfolds to Sammy's music, which transcends time and sounds so true it can pierce the veil between life and death. Suddenly, amid the Southern black community in the 1930s, performers, dances, and rhythms spanning hundreds of years play out in a layered audio-visual polyphony. It ranges from African tribal music to contemporary hip-hop to ballet dance, for an overwhelming look at the evolution of black music conjured by Sammy's supernatural sound. The playfully dreamlike sequence soon finds everyone dancing amid the mill and fiery ashes, a symbol of the bliss art can bring even amid a devastated infrastructure. Sinners is all the more potent given Warner Brothers' decision to release it, After much reshuffling, on Easter weekend, it's a confronting choice for a film that thumbs its nose at organized religion and links the methods of Christians to the groupthink mentality of remix vampires, even the collective mindset of the Ku Klux Klan. The central question in the film is whether Sammy will pursue his passion to play music or set aside his uncanny skill to follow in his pastor father's footsteps. More to the point, Coogler questions what, if anything, must be sacrificed to give the illusion of freedom and inclusion. Indeed, it's tempting to join the open arms of organized religion or other such groups, but Remake notes how they attempt to shape and mollify black anger to their cause, despite not giving their community any real power or fellowship. However, Remake's offer of freedom is no less an indoctrination. More than once in the film, characters mention how white people forced words upon us, referring to Christian mythology and prayers. Remake is an alternative, but no less rooted in conditioning. He converts people by stealing their lives and brainwashing them into his hive. Coogler's film warns against believing the hype of organizations, political groups, or religions proclaiming to champion freedom. One group's definition of freedom often means the oppression of another group. This reality is playing out in the United States today, and it's urgently present in Sinners without overstating the connection. Coogler argues that the only absolute freedom lies in that which you create, from works of art to the passion between two people. Sammy's blues music becomes a key sound for Coogler because African Americans developed it in the years after the Civil War. It wasn't part of a white cultural colonization as Christianity was. Almost as transgressive to his film's remarks about organized religion, Christian or vampire, Coogler openly celebrates female pleasure, with the focus on oral sex, in several brief asides, suggesting a sly dig at certain religious and ultra-conservative groups that deem non-vaginal sex unnatural or, to use the title's root word, sinful. In the film's terms, our heroes are sinners because they play the music they want and have sex that feels good, especially for women. Watching Sinners feels like an electric charge. It's the kind of film that's so assured, so well executed, so thematically full, and so engaging that I was left with goosebumps. In the way only filmmakers such as Stanley Kubrick, Steven Spielberg, and Christopher Nolan have, Coogler takes an overdone genre and delivers a spectacle that's a technical wonder and an intellectual gift. That's been his unique skill since he first arrived on the scene over a decade ago, blending popular formats with topical issues and political engagement. Coogler ultimately walks the walk in the same way Sammy finds freedom through his music, and not by adopting and repeating the lessons of some imperialist, colonizer, or religious proselytizer, but by creating something that feels unique to him. Even while delivering the requisite thrills and chills of a vampire yarn, Coogler's passion, energy, and politics pulse through every frame of Sinners, one of 2025's most entertaining and intelligent films.